Revealed on their dream honeymoon, the millionaire's heartwarming discovery about his hidden bride, Mike could hardly believe his eyes as he lounged on a beach chair next to Emily, the love of his life, in the tropical paradise of Hawaii. The waves danced playfully on the shore, mirroring the laughter that bubbled between them. It was everything they had dreamed of during their years of saving and working tirelessly at the small-town garage he called home. Their wedding had been a beautiful celebration of love surrounded by family and friends, and nestled in the heart of a close-knit community. Now, it felt like fantasy. As he brushed sand off her sun-kissed skin, Mike felt the weight of happiness settle over him like a light blanket of warmth. However, that bliss was ripped apart when he stumbled upon a detail he never expected. While rummaging through his wife's beach bag for sunscreen, he found an old leather wallet. Curiosity piqued, he flipped it open, only to be met with documents that held a shocking secret: Emily was the long-lost heir to a colossal family fortune. The world seemed to tilt on its axis as images of their humble beginnings crashed into a whirlwind of sophistication and privilege. His heart began to race, confusion washing over him like cold water. At that moment, the buoyancy of their love felt fragile. How could she have kept such an important part of her identity hidden? Did she love him for his dedication, or was he simply a stepping stone to her rightful place among the elite? Doubt began to snake around his mind. He caught a glimpse of celebration on the faces of beachgoers, people laughing without a care, while he wrestled with an inner turmoil that threatened to consume him whole. As they prepared to attend a charity gala hosted by Emily's wealthy family, Mike couldn't shake the feeling of inadequacy. The opulent chandelier sparkled overhead, a stark contrast to the grease stains on his hands from working on cars. He talked with the socialites, forcing smiles while feeling out of place among their polished conversations. Each clink of champagne flutes echoed like a taunt in his ears. As he stood silently, watching Emily glide into the room, radiating elegance and charm, a knot tightened in his chest. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Tension hung heavily in the air as Mike overheard whispers, judgments wrapped in thinly veiled sympathy. Did Emily cherish him, or merely see him as a project she could uplift? The stakes became clearer each day, and voices in his head grew louder like a relentless tide. As they sat on the picturesque beach one evening, the sun dipping low, he looked into Emily's eyes, so deep, and felt a desperate need for the truth. His heart pounded as he searched for the right words, though fear gripped him tightly. Emily, are you hiding anything else from me? The question hung suspended, like the ocean waves waiting to crash. An unsaid truth pulsed like the tide, teetering on the edge of awakening. Could their love survive the unknown? The silence stretched between them like an unbridgeable chasm. Emily's eyes widened, a flicker of surprise mixing with uncertainty. She ran a hand through her silky hair, the sunset illuminating the strands golden orange. Mike's breath caught in his throat as he braced himself for her response. Mike, she started, her voice trembling slightly, I wasn't hiding anything from you. At least, not in the way you're thinking. I just wanted to enjoy the simple moments we have together without the pressure of my past. Her words fell like pebbles into the still waters of his heart, creating ripples of confusion. He wanted to believe her, but the nagging doubt remained. How could she say she wasn't hiding when such a monumental part of her life had been concealed? I need to understand, he urged softly, searching her face for clarity. Who are you, really? Emily's eyes shimmered with unshed tears, and she stepped closer, closing the distance. I thought I could leave that world behind. I wanted a fresh start, Mike. The love we built, it felt real, separate from my family's expectations. The beach glowed with the last remnants of daylight, and Mike felt the warmth fade, replaced by a chill of uncertainty. But now we're here, in this world I don't belong in. What happens if you choose to go back? What about us? Emily shook her head, her expression fierce yet vulnerable. I don't want that, Mike. I choose you. The life we've made together, a simple life, is all I've ever wanted. But I can't ignore my past. I need to face it. Her words tugged at him, mixing hope and fear into a complex web in his chest. Just then, a family nearby erupted in laughter, their joy ringing through the air like a bittersweet symphony. It was a raw reminder of their differences, a stark contrast to the struggles brewing within him. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Mike asked, frustration overtaking his sorrow. This changes everything. Emily's face softened, and she reached out, placing her hand on his arm. I was scared. I didn't want you to see me differently, or worse, to think I was only with you because of your love. I fell for you as Mike, the man who worked his hands to the bone, not the man living in a castle. For a brief moment, the honesty in her eyes calmed him. But the shadows of uncertainty still lingered. How can we move forward if I don't know who you really are? He whispered, vulnerability cracking through the armor he wore. I'll tell you everything, she replied, a new resolve igniting in her. Tonight. Just us, no more secrets. In that moment, the weight of the world felt lighter, and he held on to hope that the life they dreamed of could still be within reach. As they walked hand in hand along the shore, currents lapping at their feet, Mike's heart was heavy with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. What truths lay ahead? Would Emily's past engulf them, or could love truly conquer all boundaries? The ocean roared behind them, unrelenting. And with each step, he wondered if they were moving closer to salvation or disaster. The unknown loomed ahead, drawing them into a night filled with possibilities and revelations that could change everything. Would their love withstand the storm? The warm colors of the sunset faded, leaving a deep indigo blanket blanketing the sky. The salty air rushed around them as they strolled, each step leaving imprints in the wet sand. Mike held Emily's hand tightly, feeling her pulse beneath his fingertips, a steady reminder that they were still here, right now, together. Can we sit? Emily asked, her voice softening. She pointed to a weathered wooden bench a few feet away, half buried in the dunes. Mike nodded, leading her there. They both sank onto the bench with a mixture of relief and dread. Before you tell me, he started, his voice catching slightly, I need to promise you one thing. Emily turned to him, her gaze a mix of curiosity and worry. What is it? You have to know that whatever you share, it won't change how I feel about you. This moment we have together, it's been real for me, and I hope it's real for you too. She searched his face, her expression vulnerable, yet a flicker of hope danced behind her eyes. It is real, Mike. You have no idea how much you mean to me. Mike inhaled deeply, letting the calmness of the ocean wash over him. Then please, tell me your story. As the waves rolled in, Emily cleared her throat, her voice barely above the sound of the surf. My family, they come from money. A lot of it. Each word felt heavy as she spoke, like stones tied to her feet. They have expectations about who I should be with, what my life should look like. Mike nodded, his heart pounding as he braced himself for what would follow. The gulf between their worlds felt exponentially wider with every second ticked by. Emily continued, when I met you, it was liberating. You treated me like a person, not a trophy. But the truth is, my parents have always wanted me to marry someone from their circle, someone who meets their standards. Mike furrowed his brow. And they weren't happy about us? No, she whispered. When I didn't follow their plan, she paused, collecting her thoughts. They made it clear that I would lose everything, my home, my inheritance, if I chose a life with you. The intensity of her revelations brewed a storm of emotions inside him. So that's why you didn't want to share it. You were afraid? Afraid of losing you. Afraid of being alone again, she admitted, tears glistening in her eyes. But I was also afraid that if you learned about my past, you'd think less of me. I didn't want you to see the burdens I carry. The honesty in her words broke through the walls of misunderstanding he'd built. It felt like the ocean's relentless waves, some strong, others gentle, all merging into a singular experience. Emily, he murmured, I love you, not what you have or where you come from. A shaky breath escaped her lips. So, what happens now? Mike's heart raced, his emotions flickering between exhilaration and trepidation. Now, we figure it out together. I'm here, Emily. But we need to be honest, both of us. She nodded, that unmistakable looking of gratitude illuminating her features. There's one more thing, Mike. If my family finds out about us, they won't back down easily. It could get messy. He turned to face her fully. Then we'll face the storm together, won't we? The determination in his voice surprised even him. As they shared a smile, a wave crashed over the shoreline, a sudden reminder of the world around them. The life they'd built in those quiet moments felt fragile against the tumult of Emily's past. But for now, they had each other. Yet, as darkness fell, a shadow loomed over their newfound truth. Would they really be able to withstand the pressure from her family? A new wave of uncertainty washed over them, a reminder that their fight was only just beginning. What would unfold if her parents demanded her return? Would love be enough? The silence between them was thick, filled with unspoken fears that danced in the salt-tinged breeze. The waves continued their rhythmic symphony, but Mike felt a growing tension within himself, a feeling like the calm before a storm. What if they never accept me, Mike? Emily's voice broke through the quiet. The vulnerability in her words had a way of churning his stomach. The image of her parents loomed in his mind, rich and imposing, a fortress built on expectations. He squeezed her hand tighter, trying to send strength through their intertwined fingers. We'll show them, Em. We'll show them what love really looks like. Her eyes searched his, looking for confidence. For a brief moment, the world around them faded, it was just the two of them, navigating the chaos of impending reality together. Mike wasn't just hopeful, he felt a rising determination. He'd fought battles before, and he didn't intend to back down now. Do you really think they can change? She pressed, an edge of disbelief slipping into her voice. This wasn't just about them, it felt like a deep-rooted family feud, intertwined with wealth and tradition. They will see what's in front of them, Mike insisted. You're not some rebellious daughter, Emily. You're extraordinary. They're going to have to deal with their own blindness, not your worth. A fleeting smile played on her lips like a candle's flame, flickering but alive. Your words are comforting, but they're still not reality. Reality. The word hung in the air like a heavy cloud. The more they talked about her family, the more real the threat felt. Just then, her phone buzzed in her pocket, shattering the moment. Both their eyes widened, the sudden intrusion snapping them back to the world. Fear flickered across Emily's face as she reached for her phone, a part of her hoping it was a distraction, another part dreading the possibility of bad news. She looked at the screen, her face paling. It's my mom, answer it, Mike urged, his voice steady but his heart racing. She hesitated, then answered, her voice barely a whisper. Hi, Mom. The moment she spoke it was like a dam burst. Emily's smile faded with each word, replaced by the tension of familiarity. Mike couldn't hear the soft words on the other end, but he could read the emotions flooding Emily's face: shock, hurt, anger. I need to think, Mom. This isn't just about you, she replied, her voice growing firm. His heart swelling with admiration, Mike quietly marveled at her strength. But just then, the sound of her mother's voice escalated, the reproof ringing in the cold air. He could see her shoulders tense as the call continued. Emily? Mike whispered, pulling her closer. What do we do if it gets too heated? She ended the call abruptly, a mix of confusion and anger flooding her features. She made it clear that I need to come home, she said, her voice shaken. Mom, 1T take no for an answer. What? Panic tightened in his chest at the weight of her words. You're not going to leave, are you? Emily looked out at the turbulent sea, the waves crashing aggressively against the shore. I don't know. An urgency mounted within him, a need to solidify their bond. Emily, whatever you do, don't let them dictate your life. You're not a pawn in their game. But it's not that easy, she murmured, her voice thick with tears. I don't want to lose you, but I can't run from my family either. The warmth of the moment had evaporated, leaving only the cold reality of the fight ahead. The stakes had never felt higher, the weight of their love now felt burdened by an imposing reality. We'll fight, together, he said desperately, cupping her face in his hands, forcing her to look into his eyes. You're not alone in this. But as they stood there, the ocean roared like a beast beneath the night sky, and Mike wondered if their love was truly strong enough to withstand the looming storm. What would they face if they committed to that fight? Would they be ready for the fallout? Emily's breath came out in shaky bursts, almost lost in the sound of crashing waves. The turmoil inside her mirrored the ocean's chaos. She met Mike's intense gaze, seeking reassurance amid her turmoil. His words echoed in her heart, but her mind whirred with doubt. Together, she whispered, testing the word on her tongue. It felt like a promise, yet deep down, she was equal parts terrified and hopeful. Mike tightened his grip on her hands, grounding them both. Let us sit and figure this out, he suggested, guiding her to a nearby weathered wooden bench. They sank into its cool surface, surrounded by the scent of salt and the whispers of the evening breeze. I don't want to fight this battle, Emily confessed, her voice cracking. Not with them. Not with you. We're not really fighting them, we're standing up for us, Mike replied, his tone unwavering. You have to want this too, Em. You have to believe that we deserve a shot. Looking ahead, she could see the horizon, where waves blurred with the blood-orange sky. The beauty made her heart ache, as if it was a reminder of everything she held dear yet felt torn from. But I can't just cut them out of my life. They're my family. My whole life has been built around them. Is that truly a life you want? He leaned closer, his eyes searching hers. Emily, families can be tough. But love shouldn't hurt you this way. You shouldn't have to battle your own feelings to find happiness. Tears brimmed her eyes. You don't understand how they are. They make my life miserable. They want just let it go. What if they did? He squeezed her hands again. You're not just some rebel. You're a person who loves fiercely. It's time for them to deal with that. For a moment, silence wrapped around them like a soft blanket. A wave of possibility washed over Emily, mixing with the fears that lurked in the shadows of her thoughts. Maybe I can talk to them, make them understand. That's the spirit. He encouraged, pride radiating from his voice. But you need to be ready for pushback. You can't simply give in to their demands without expressing your own voice. It was Mike's unwavering faith that sparked a flicker of hope in Emily's heart. But doubts still clawed at her. And if they don't change? What if this only leads to destruction? Then we prepare ourselves for it together. One step at a time, he said softly, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. You are never alone in this. The weight of his words settled over her like a warm embrace. She didn't want to wave a white flag, to surrender before the fight began. But the thought of battling against a world built on expectations felt daunting. What if they never accept me? What if they resent you? Then I will fight for you. I will fight for us, he vowed, determination etching his features. For the first time in what felt like ages, hope began to bloom amidst her uncertainties. But just then, a sharp ring cut through their moment. Mike's phone vibrated in his pocket, pulling him out of her gaze. "I'll be quick," he said, glancing at the caller ID before stepping a few paces away, his voice dropping to a murmur. Emily watched him, a weighty thought creeping in. Was this the start of a new chapter, or was a different storm brewing on the horizon? She pulled her knees to her chest, needing strength as she wrestled with the emotions swirling inside her. A reflection of clarity hit her. If she was to conquer her doubts, she needed to prepare herself for what awaited. For in every relationship, love was only as resilient as the faith that supported it. As Mike turned back toward her, a frown shadowed his face, and she could see dread etched in his features. "We need to talk about this," he said, his voice serious, causing her heart to skip, wondering if her fears were about to become a reality. What was waiting for Emily just beyond their fragile hope? Would they be ready for the truth? The weight of Mike's words hung heavily in the air, wrapping around Emily like a cold fog. Her heart raced, a mixture of dread and anticipation pulsing in her chest. "What is it?" she asked, keeping her voice steady, even as the uneasy flutter in her stomach threatened to spill over. He hesitated for a moment, running a hand through his hair, a telltale sign of anxiety. "It's my brother. He just called. He knows about us." Panic surged through her, squeezing her throat tighter. "What does he know? Did he tell your family?" Emily felt the ground shift beneath her. The realities of rejection loomed larger, threatening to swallow her whole. Mike shook his head quickly, cutting through her spiraling thoughts. "No, not yet." He took a deep breath and continued, "We still have time to talk and figure this out. I just don't want you to feel blindsided if they start throwing questions your way." Was time really on their side? "But they'll be angry, Mike. If he starts spreading rumors, I can't handle being judged by your family again. They've never seen me as anything but less. Emily, I will stand with you, will you?" The edge in her tone pulled him back. "How can you be sure? When push comes to shove, whose side will they take?" Doubt lingered on the edges of her vision, distorting the hope she had begun to embrace. "I can't control what they think," he replied firmly, "but I can control what I do. I'm choosing you." The fierce determination in his eyes brought a flicker of warmth to her heart, but it was quickly quenched by the flickering doubts that still loomed large in her mind. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting brilliant streaks of gold across the ocean, Emily felt her resolve begin to crack. "And if they don't accept me? What if they turn this into a family feud? They're experts at it, Mike." A fresh wave of uncertainty washed over him as he considered her words, a shadow crossing his face. "We can't calculate everyone's reactions. But we need to face this together. If it becomes tense, we can create our own space. You're worth standing up for." She searched his face, looking for any hint of doubt, but all she found was an unwavering commitment that both soothed and frightened her. "What if your happiness leads to mine, or vice versa?" Emily felt the walls closing in around her. The thought of fracturing his family made her stomach twist. "Then I risk it for you," he said softly, his voice steady and gentle. "Because my happiness is tied to yours, Em. But you have to meet me halfway. We need a plan." Her heart fluttered at the notion. "A plan? What do you mean?" "We talk to them. Before they jump to conclusions. We give them a chance to see us together and hear our story. We set the stage." As he spoke, Emily felt a change within herself. Perhaps she didn't have to fear the storm. Maybe she could hold her ground. "Okay," she said, her voice firmer now. "I'll do it. I'll face them. I'll find my voice." Mike grinned, relief washing over him as he pulled her into a hug. "See? I knew you had it in you. Remember, no matter what happens, I'm right here." But just as she began to believe, her phone buzzed violently in her pocket. She fished it out, heart thudding as she saw the name flashing on the screen. Mom. The moment felt like a spark igniting gasoline. Maybe I should answer it, she said hesitantly. Emily, wait, but it was too late. She pressed accept and brought the phone to her ear. Emily. Where have you been? We need to talk. Her mother's voice was sharper than the waves crashing around them, cutting through their newfound moment of clarity. Emily's heart sank, knowing that the conversation she had been dreading was about to unfold. Would she be strong enough? Mom, not now, just listen. The urgency in her mother's tone sent chills down Emily's spine. What would her mother demand this time? What if the acceptance she longed for slipped further away? Emily? Mike's voice broke through her racing thoughts, full of concern. What's happening? And that's when Emily realized whatever came next could change everything. Was she ready for what lay ahead? The air crackled with uncertainty, and she felt the weight of the world resting heavy on her shoulders. Could she finally break free, or was this just the beginning of a much bigger storm? Emily, are you even listening? Her mother's voice pierced through the static of her racing mind, jolting her back to reality. Yeah, I'm here. Emily stumbled over her words as panic welled up again. Mike's presence beside her felt like a steadying anchor. Listen, sweetheart, you can't keep disappearing without telling us where you are. Your father and I are worried sick. This isn't like you. Emily's throat tightened. I was just what? Out with friends? You know I'm not against you living your life, but this is different. She felt the hot knot of anxiety twist tighter in her stomach. It was always different. Since she was young, different meant being judged, being dismissed. She shot a quick glance at Mike. His expression was a blend of fear and determination, urging her to speak her truth. Mom, I'm not a child anymore. I can make my own decisions. And what decisions are those? Because from what I hear, they've caused quite a stir. Your brother mentioned you're dating someone, Emily interjected, her voice resolute. His name is Mike. There was a long pause, the kind that made Emily feel like she was dangling from a thread, waiting for the inevitable fall. The waves crashed rhythmically behind her, the sky deepening into indigo. Mike? Her mother's voice quivered, a mixture of surprise and concern. Is he one of those boys from the beach? Emily clenched her jaw. No, he's a good person. And I care about him, Mom. And do you think your father would agree? The disapproval was palpable. I don't know, Emily whispered, her confidence faltering. But it shouldn't matter. I'm not looking for your approval on who I love. You taught me that my happiness counts. Emily, her mother's tone softened just a touch, you know your father just wants what's best. We're a family, and we've always supported you, even if you don't believe it. Support? You mean push? Force? Mom, I need you to understand that I'm not the little girl who needs to follow the family path. I want my own life. Each word felt like a step into uncharted territory, but Emily didn't want to retreat. Not now. Are you ready for the consequences? Her mother's voice turned cautious, almost maternal. Life is full of consequences. But I can handle it. I need you to be on my side. Emily, there was something gentle in her tone now, a flicker of hope. Let us not make any decisions we'll regret. Can we at least meet him? Your father deserves to understand what's happening. Meet him? Emily blinked, her heart racing. Are you saying I'm saying I'd like to meet him? Yes. Maybe we can talk this through. It sounds like you found someone important in your life, and I want to understand better. A wave of relief washed over her. For the first time, the notion of approaching Mike's family didn't seem so insurmountable. Really? Yes, but only if you're honest with us, no hiding. Okay, she breathed out slowly, glancing at Mike. He raised an eyebrow, questioning and curious, but she nodded slightly, as if to tell him that hope was blossoming. Good. Let us not keep secrets. Her mother's voice softened even more. I love you, honey. We'll figure this out together. Just be careful with your heart. I will, Mom. I promise. After hanging up, Emily turned to Mike, her heart fluttering in a way it hadn't moments before. She wants to meet you. Mike blinked, surprise flickering in his eyes. Really? That's wow. Yeah, wow. The weight of uncertainty still lingered, but she felt lighter. But even as they shared a smile, Emily's thoughts whirled. Could this truly be the beginning of acceptance? Or was it just an illusion, one that could shatter at any moment? The questions hung in the air, thick and expectant. As they stood together, gazing out at the vast ocean, Emily knew that only time would tell what lay ahead. Would they walk hand in hand into a future of love and acceptance, or would the waves of doubt crash between them? The tides felt ominous, and beneath the surface, something stirred. The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting a warm golden hue across the ocean. Emily took a deep breath, her heart racing as hope battled with uncertainty. Are you okay? Mike's voice broke through her thoughts, gentle and steady. She turned to him, seeing the concern etched on his face. Yeah, she hesitated, searching for the right words. I can't believe she wants to meet you. It feels huge, doesn't it? Mike nodded slowly. Yeah, it does. But what if they don't like me? What if they think I'm not good enough for you? His eyes were wide, vulnerable. Emily felt a sharp pang in her chest. But that's not your fault. Their approval shouldn't define us. I want you to be you. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Yeah, but that's easier said than done, right? I just wish they could see how special you are. Maybe this is our chance to show them. A flicker of determination sparked inside her. We can do this together. The ocean's roar filled the silence between them, but Emily felt a sense of calm. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it side by side. As they walked along the shore, the cool breeze tousling her hair, doubt whispered in the back of Emily's mind. Meeting Mike's family had crossed her thoughts too. Would they react the same way her parents might? Would acceptance be just as hard for them? Are you ready for this? Mike asked, glancing sideways at her, his voice steady yet laced with uncertainty. I think so. Emily bit her lip, trying to center herself. I can't promise it'll be easy. But it's a part of us finding our way together. His hand found hers, fingers intertwining. The touch sent warmth through her, wrapping around her like a safety blanket. No matter what happens, I'm here for you. Always. The seriousness of his words settled like dropped anchor. Emily paused, turning to him. Promise? Promise. As they walked, the weight of future encounters loomed over them. The shadows of Emily's family and their expectations felt heavy, but Mike's presence warded off the darkness. When they finally made it to the small beach cafe they frequented, Emily's stomach churned with a mix of excitement and fear. The usual ambience of laughter and chatter felt different today. It was almost deafening against her internal anxiety. Let us take a seat outside. Mike suggested, always the thoughtful one. The terrace was a little secluded, a perfect spot for them to talk, away from prying eyes. Just as they settled in, Emily's phone buzzed on the table. She glanced at the screen. It was a text from her brother, Jack. Hey, are you and Mike coming over? Mom's freaking out about meeting him. A flutter of nerves shot through her. Jack wants to know if we're still coming. He says Mom's nervous. Do you want to go? Mike asked, knowing the answer could change everything. Yeah, I think so. The adrenaline rushed anew as she felt the gravity of the decision. Would this be the moment they either took a step towards acceptance or built a wall that pushed them apart for good? As they left the cafe, hand in hand, she felt the weight of their choice hanging over them, heavy yet exhilarating. With each step towards her family's house, Emily wondered what truths would emerge. Would her love for Mike break down barriers, or would it create new ones? The door loomed ahead, and as they stood before it, Emily's heart raced, echoing the pounding waves. Nothing felt certain, but she was determined to find out. Would she find the courage to face her family and reveal the depths of her heart? The answers awaited behind that door, but with it came the question, were they ready for whatever lay on the other side? Emily reached for the doorknob, her heart pounding a wild rhythm against her ribs. Mike stood beside her, his calm demeanor providing a fragile shield against the storm of emotions swirling inside her. She hesitated, feeling the weight of every possibility pressing down on her. This was it. "Are you ready?" he asked softly, his eyes searching hers. She could see the hope mingling with apprehension. "Ready as I'll ever be," she replied, forcing a smile that she hoped looked more confident than it felt. Together, they pushed the door open. The familiar scent of her family's home surrounded them like baked cookies mixed with the faint whiff of marigolds from the garden outside. It was comforting, but also suffocating, reminding Emily of the expectations that lingered like a dark shadow. "Hey, Em." Jack's voice broke through their moment of uncertainty, pulling them both into the living room. He stood with wide arms, ready to engulf Emily in a hug. "Hey," she chirped, trying to mask her nerves. As he embraced her, she could feel the tension in her shoulders ease slightly. "Mike. Good to see you." Jack shifted gears, extending his hand, his enthusiasm evident. Mike took it, a hint of relief washing over his features as Jack welcomed him warmly. Emily's mom peeked from the kitchen with a wooden spoon in hand, smiling yet calculating. "You're just in time for dinner. I hope you're both hungry." "Yes, Ma am," Mike replied, his voice steady, but the glimmer in his eyes told another story, one of anxiousness. Emily led Mike into the dining room where the table was set with her mother's careful precision. Every detail was in place, from the neatly folded napkins to the freshly cut flowers gracing the center. It felt inviting, yet a layer of tension hung in the air. They sat, and the sound of clinking cutlery and soft chatter filled the space. Emily tried to relax, but she could feel her parents stealing glances at Mike, evaluating him like a prized exhibit. "Mike, tell us about yourself," her mom initiated the interrogation, a smile playing at her lips but her eyes sharp and focused. "Sure, I'm involved in graphic design," Mike said, his voice wavering slightly. "That sounds interesting," her dad chimed in, leaning forward. "But what about your family? Where are you from?" Emily held her breath, waiting for the storm of questions to surface. It wasn't just about Mike, it was about every piece of her life they would scrutinize. Would they see him as serious enough? Good enough? He answered, sharing some details about his upbringing. Emily admired him for maintaining his composure, even as the conversation turned and twisted like an unexpected plot. But when he spoke about his passion for art, the light in his eyes sparkled, drawing in their interest. As the meal went on, Emily felt the atmosphere shift. Her mother softened in response to Mike's humor, and her father nodded in appreciation at his insights. She caught glimpses of Mike's charm, the way he could disarm even her toughest critics. "Have you thought about starting a family?" her mother asked suddenly, eyebrows raised. Emily's stomach nodded. She felt the eyes on her widen. "Family?" Mike echoed, a smile stuck on his face as he tried to process the question. "I want to take it one step at a time," he replied cautiously, not wanting to overpromise. Emily could hear the tension crackling around the table. Would that answer be satisfactory? Would it drive a wedge as unexpected as her mother's probing questions? Jack jumped in, shifting the subject to a lighter note, but the conversation had shifted something within Emily. She glanced at Mike, and in that moment, she knew this was a test, one that could either strengthen them or fracture their bond. As they finished dinner, a sense of relief washed over her. They made it through the hardest part, but what lay ahead? Could they navigate the maze of expectations ahead without losing themselves? When dessert was served, Emily took a deep breath, her mind racing. There was one question that lingered. Could she speak her truth without fear? Sudden determination filled her. In that moment, she realized she'd be the one to decide how the chapters unfolded from here. "Can I say something?" she said, voice firm yet gentle. The room fell silent. Everyone turned their attention to her, hearts pounding under the same weight of anticipation. What happens next? She wondered, catching Mike's gaze. Hope and courage surged within Emily as she faced her family, her heart hammering like the waves outside. "I've been thinking about how we got here," she said, her voice steady. "And there's something important I need to share." Mike's hand was warm in hers, a grounding force as she spoke. She took a breath, knowing that this moment could change everything. "I love Mike for who he is, not what he brings to the table. I've hidden him from you all because I was afraid of how you'd react, afraid that love alone wouldn't be enough." Jack's eyes widened, surprise flickering over his features. Her parents exchanged glances that felt charged with tension. But she pressed on, feeling a new sense of power flowing through her. "We come from different worlds, but that doesn't make our love any less valid. You've always taught me to be true to myself and to follow my heart. So why should that change just because of who I choose to love?" The silence across the table was deafening. Mike's gaze remained steady, encouraging her to continue. She could see the support in his eyes, the reassurance she needed. "I want you all to see who Mike really is. He's hardworking, compassionate, and he makes me happy in ways I've never felt before. Isn't that what you want for me?" Emily's mother opened her mouth, the words caught in her throat. Their disapproval was palpable, but Emily didn't flinch. "I don't want to live under the weight of your expectations anymore. It's time for me to live my life on my terms." Jack finally spoke, cutting through the thick tension, his voice somehow soft yet firm. "This is a lot for us. You can't expect us to just accept it without hesitation." But he hesitated, wrestling with the shifting tides of family loyalty. "I know you. You're strong-willed. If this is what you truly want, I'll stand by you." Her parents exchanged unease, and Emily felt a flicker of concern. But the steely resolve in her heart refused to yield. "I want you to meet him. I want you to see the person I love. And I want you all to understand that I am not going to be the daughter you predicted. I'm going to be the woman I choose to become." Slowly, her mother nodded. "If he's important to you, maybe we need to give him that chance. Let's meet him properly, like family." The table atmosphere shifted. It was cautious, tentative, but there was a hint of warmth emerging, just like the first light of dawn breaking through the darkness. Jack leaned in, his playful nature returning. "Just know, if he ever hurts you, I'll be the first one at his door." Mike chuckled at the seriousness in Jack's tone, easing the moment. "I promise, I won't give you a reason to worry." In that moment, everything felt possible. Emily could see the glimmer of acceptance in her mother's eyes, the wall beginning to crumble. Could this be the turning point they all needed? Over dessert, laughter returned, and they shared stories, moments of vulnerability blossoming like wildflowers breaking through rocky terrain. They talked, gauged opinions and formed tentative, hopeful bonds. Emily felt lighter, liberated in a way she hadn't tasted before. The ocean waves outside seemed to echo with a newfound rhythm, one that matched the pulse within her. As they prepared to leave, Mike's arm brushed against Emily's, sending a rush of warmth through her. "You were incredible," he whispered, admiration glowing in his gaze. "I couldn't have done it without you," she said softly, feeling overwhelmed yet empowered. Emily glanced back at her family, feeling a lightness lifting her heart, as if a great burden had been released. They were still miles away from complete acceptance, but guards had softened, hearts were nudged open, and for the first time, she felt the warmth of hope wrapping around them. As they walked together, hand in hand into the twilight, Emily knew this was just the beginning of their journey. Love required bravery, honesty, and the occasional leap into the unknown. And in that moment, as the waves danced to a different rhythm, she felt ready, armed with the strength of her love and a pledge for a new beginning. Before you go, I need you to take action now. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next exclusive adventures. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it really makes a difference. Tell me your thoughts, comment below about how you felt the ending wrapped things up. And finally, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this amazing transformation. This is the moment to show your support for stories that touch the heart. Don't wait not even one more second to share.